But I say to you that allow the courts to decide whether a man is guilty or not.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, Honorable Member for Bolgatanga, is it Central or Central? Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am very sad that in our country the biggest perceived enemy of our economy is being defended the way my colleagues are doing. And everybody knows. And everybody knows. No. Everybody knows. Everybody knows.
Honorable Adongo, how did you come by that?
Mr.
That
Speaker,
is the biggest.
Mr. Speaker, if that makes him happy, I withdraw.
Please just withdraw. Honorable members.
Yes, the truth.
Honorable members, please, let's be guided by our all standing orders. This comment should not generate any debate. So please, let's make a statement that will invite no other person to come and challenge your statement. Please, let's be straightforward.
Mr. Speaker, you allowed very contentious, debatable issues to be raised here. And you are now asking me to respond to debatable argument without debate? Is that what you are saying? You admitted all that debatable documents that he presented here. But I want to say that if you are a Ghanaian and you respect yourself, Ghana has gone into debt restructuring and embarrassed globally. Who did that? Ken Ofori did that. The Ghanaians who bought our bonds, went through a DDEP. Who did that? Ken Ofori. And so, if you get up to defend this person who has robbed us of our peace and happiness, and you expect me to debate this in a manner that is not debatable, I beg to differ. But Mr. Speaker, the truth is that the OSP has made it very clear that the state did not send anybody to Ken Ofori's house, and that was staged by Ken Ofori's own people.
Hold on. Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, let the records reflect that this side of the House brought this matter up, questioning the mode of the action taken by state security operatives. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, the argument being made by my colleague is to the effect that the man has committed some crimes and we are defending. Mr. Speaker, let it be known by him. Let it be known by him that as he is now in this chamber, he's aspiring into public office. He's seriously lobbying to be made a deputy minister. Mr. Speaker, he has not even been recognized. It is some of these unguarded statements. That is why he has not been recognized. Mr. Speaker, we are talking about the mode of the raid, the arrest. We are not saying that if the state has evidence against Ken Ofori, you shouldn't try him.
Well.
Mr. Speaker, if indeed there is an issue against him, the state can try him. Then he can have access to his lawyers.
Leader.
But you cannot accuse him that the man is guilty.
Leader, I'll come to you. Because you have your time so that you can address all these things, please.
Mr. Speaker, he has to withdraw that part of the submission.
Leader, which part?
These are my views.
Go on.
Yeah, they are my views. The minority leader doesn't tell me what to say in this house. He doesn't dictate to me what I say in this house. And I'm saying that when as a government you decided to violate the Public Financial Management Act with impunity, this day was coming, and it has arrived. The Public Financial Management Act is very clear. The Public Financial Management Act is very clear that you cannot commit this state to a multi-year contract without the Minister for Finance, himself issuing a commencement certificate. And yet, after he issued a commencement certificate, he was still drawing on contingency fund as if he didn't know about the project. And he thought that you could do that as long as you want. But the subject is that the OSP has spelled out the reasons why he's looking for him. And I'm discussing what the OSP is calling him for. That when he decided to engage in multi-year transactions and refused the approval of Parliament, knowing very well the implications in the Public Financial Management Act, he knew that he would answer for it one day. And that you are now asking us to do what? Not to discuss a fugitive. We shouldn't discuss a fugitive. Is that what you're asking? Or I should clean him up even though he's a fugitive? So when you came here, you knew that the product you are selling, you could not sell it. And we warned you. We warned you and you did. You can warn me as long as you want. But the important thing is that the OSP has stated.
Thank you.
The OSP has stated that he didn't send anybody.
Thank you, Honorable Adongo.
Why are you running away? Why are you running away?
Honorable Osenyako.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I have come in peace. I have come in peace.
You've come in peace.
Mr. Speaker,
you said you've come in peace.
Yes.
Very well. Let's listen to you.
God willing, Ghana will be 68 years this year. Mr. Speaker, we have seen government change all the time. Mr. Speaker, the wrong yesterday is not right today. If we are building a society, if we are building a country, if we are building a nation, Mr. Speaker, we cannot and we should not allow some of these ills to go on in our society. All of us sitting here, we are politicians. All of us. Tomorrow, it could be you. Today, you think it is Mr. Ken Oforiata, so it is okay. I will speak against it if it was meted to you. The fact that similar issue or same thing was done in 2017 doesn't mean that we should repeat same this time. You should listen to me. Mr. Speaker, I am sad. I am sad for Mother Ghana. I am sad for we as a politician because tomorrow it will be your turn. And I cannot sit because I'm in the opposite side, so I will sit down and watch you be treated this way. Mr. Speaker, if you want to build a nation, if you want to build a democracy, let us use the laid down procedures. I am not speaking to shield anybody. The laws are clear that if
anybody is found guilty of committing any crime, there are laid down procedures to deal with such matters. We don't use a Rambo style action to go to somebody's house. I have just a caution. I have a message for the president. President Mahama should listen to me. Mr. President, Ghanaians voted for you massively so that you come and unite this country.
Thank you.
They did not vote for you to come and divide this country.
Thank you.
If he want to leave a legacy long after he has leave his office, then I am begging him that he should use the laid down procedure to address some of these matters.
Thank you, honorable member.
And stop the buga buga.
Thank you so much.
To help this country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me come to Boy.
I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I am one of those who believe that what is wrong yesterday is also wrong today. What I've read is that the OSP has said that the raiding that we are all talking about is something that was staged. I listened to him. And so for me, for us to use this precious time discussing something that has been staged, then I think that we need to have a second look at what we are doing. Mr. Speaker, I listened to my senior brother, the former Minister for Defense, and I was a bit sad. I followed you and the former Minister for Interior, and my good friend and brother, the former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, and also Honorable Kandapa. The four of you, I followed you from outside here on that fateful day, and I dove my cap for Honorable Kandapa when he shouted, "Don't let them enter, don't let them enter, don't let them enter." You shouted, "Let them enter, let them enter, let them enter." And they entered. Mr. Speaker, he's now telling.
Mr. Speaker, first of all, I want him to know, and he knows me very well, that where I come from, I'm not a coward. I can never be a coward. He knows that where I come from, I can't be a coward. I will never be a coward. Otherwise, I cannot go home. And Mr. Speaker, I want to repeat that I am not a coward. I can never be a coward. Otherwise, I cannot go home. He knows where I come from. And let me tell you, you have no evidence.
Thank you.
Not a single shred of evidence. And I want him to withdraw that statement because it's a direct attack on my person, on my family, my tribe, where I come from, and you are putting people in danger for no reason. If you don't have any evidence, withdraw it. It's very unfortunate that you will make a statement against Ambrose. He's not here to defend himself. Make a statement against me, and I can defend myself. It's wrong. You have no evidence. You heard it. You heard it. It's very unfortunate. Do you even know when the soldiers came? Do you know where I was?
Honorable members.
When the soldiers came in, do you even know where I was that day? Do you know where I was?
Honorable members.
If you are using soldiers to intimidate Ghanaians, including myself,
Honorable.
If you are using soldiers to intimidate Ghanaians, including myself, chasing my car, that is not democracy. That is not democracy. You use soldiers to chase me. That is not democracy. That is not democracy. Don't accuse me. You have no evidence. Withdraw it.
Well, honorable members, I will see the seat to the first deputy speaker. Meanwhile, you may continue. Honorable member, you may go on. Honorable Yusuf, you may go on.
Mr. Speaker, I started by saying that the defense minister is my brother. And indeed, I know where he's coming from. Where he's coming from, that is where I'm coming from. We are brothers. We are the same people. And so I was shocked that day when he was the one ushering in the military men to come and kill his own brothers. Mr. Speaker, he's saying that there was no democracy at that time, and that there was no government in place, and that he wasn't the minister at that time. And so whatever happened, he wasn't bothered. This is what he just said. Mr. Speaker, the very people who did that are still in the system. I want to call on you. On this day, we have their pictures to order an investigation so that we will get to the bottom of this issue. But I am a Muslim and a serious and pious Muslim. And the last thing I will do is to tell lies on my own brother. I have said what we call the kalima. I believe in Allah. I believe in his prophets. And the next thing to believe in is to ensure that I don't tell lies on respected people like my brother. I'm only putting on the record that on that day, I followed you. My brother, Honorable Abu Jinapo, Honorable Ambrusderi, and Honorable Kandapa, from the start here down up to this point, when Honorable Kandapa insisted, don't let them enter, don't let them enter, don't let them enter, and you said they should enter. Indeed, they entered. You followed them. Mr. Speaker, what I want you to do is to call for the video. Call for the video. He wants me to come with evidence. Call for the video. And you will see him ushering in the military men. On this note, Mr. Speaker, I am calling for an independent investigation to ensure that whatever happened that day, we get the truth of it. And once we get the truth of it, he will cease to call on evidence. Thank you.
But Mr. Speaker, somebody has accused me.
Yes, honorable member.
Somebody has accused me that I brought soldiers to come and kill.
You don't have the floor. Resume your seat. Please resume your seat. Honorable Nitiwul, resume your seat. Honorable member, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable member, hold it.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, let's remind ourselves about Order 129 and conduct business in an orderly manner. I will not hesitate to apply the rules. Honorable member, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I mean, members in this House who have followed my proceedings or my actions in the media will certainly know that I was one of the few MPs who stood up and said that Ken Ofori-Atta must go. And so I'm not here to defend Ken Ofori-Atta. But Mr. Speaker,
we need to ensure that as a country, the rule of law always reigns supreme. I am a bit surprised that our members in the NDC are today defending actions that yesterday they were crying over. In fact, I heard my good friend John Jinapo, I also heard Kwame Agoja make claims that in 2017 their houses were raided at that clue and all of that. Is that justification why we should allow same to be repeated this time? The Speaker, when
honorable members, I said order.
When His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was campaigning, he said he was going to reset Ghana. Is that the reset we are seeing today? Is this the reset we are seeing today? That lawlessness is taking supreme over everything that we do in this country? That today Richard Jakwa can walk into the houses of Ken Ofori-Atta and raid the house and be picking documents when he has no warrant. Mr. Speaker, today the OSP, we all heard him, and the OSP declared Ken Ofori-Atta as a fugitive. Mr. Speaker, I'm wondering the legal basis for the OSP to declare Ken Ofori-Atta as a fugitive. Mr. Speaker, a fugitive is someone who has escaped from custody or is evading a lawful arrest warrant. What warrant does the OSP has? That today the OSP will be saying that Ken Ofori-Atta has escaped from this country. We all know that the finance minister, one of the reasons why he had to quit his job was that he was not feeling well. And so if the man travels out of this country for medical reasons, and knowing very well, when there has been enough communication between the OSP and Ken Ofori-Atta, and you take this press conference just to embarrass the man, I am sharply the OSP, and declare the man as a fugitive. That is what John Jinapo said. Leader, you said nothing about it. John Jinapo said the man has been declared as a fugitive. And you know the definition of a fugitive. As Ken Ofori-Atta.
Honourable Member, I recognize the Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we need to be cautious. The honourable member who just spoke said the OSP organized a press conference to embarrass the former finance minister. Mr. Speaker, this House should not interfere in the work of the OSP. We should not intimidate the OSP. And secondly, Mr. Speaker, the former defense minister said soldiers were sent to the residence of the former finance minister. Mr. Speaker, nobody has tendered evidence in this chamber that soldiers were sent. Mr. Speaker, they are talking about one Mr. Jakwa. The man is not a soldier. The man is retired. He left the army. And he is an officer, I believe, of national security. Of the state. So please, let's not sit here and say things that would dent the image of the men and officers of the Ghana Armed Forces in uniform. So let's be careful. Let's be careful when we say that soldiers were sent, because no soldier was sent to the residence of the defense minister. Mr. Speaker, please, let's be cautious.
Honourable Minority Leader, I recognize Honourable Majority Leader on a point of order. Are you also on a point of order against the point of order?
Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, take it easy. He didn't say he was up on a point of order. Mr. Speaker, he didn't say so. He didn't say so. And please, he made an intervention for the good of us. I am back on the same level, please. Mr. Speaker, I agree with the Honorable Leader of the House that we should tread cautiously. Rightly so. But, Mr. Speaker, we have heard a colleague make a statement for Hansard that the respected senior member sent soldiers here to kill us. Those were the words. Mr. Speaker, in the same spirit, we need to be careful. Two, I have publicly acknowledged the diplomacy of the majority leader, and I have no reason to doubt him. But I always act in good faith. I shared with him, although private, but I will tender it since it has been raised. Videos of soldiers in uniform raiding the residence of Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta. Mr. Speaker, indeed, he is right in saying that the man being spoken about as the one leading the team is now a civilian. That is true. Mr. Richard Jakwa, who works with national security, and indeed the one who led the soldiers, is a state security operative. But, Mr. Speaker, the point is very clear.
Are you very sure that it's a state security operative?
Mr. Speaker, he says so. It's not coming from me. He confirmed. These are the words of the majority leader. It's not mine.
This is Japan.
That is what, so, Mr. Speaker, yes, he has confirmed. He says he is a state security operative. It's not coming from me. Mr. Speaker, I have shared the videos with him, and I was fair in my dealings with him by saying that this is a matter that I want to raise. So, Mr. Speaker, let us be guided by what he has just told us and allow our colleague to proceed. I have gotten a signal from my respected colleague who has just been nominated as a deputy minister that he wants to withdraw that aspect of the submit. Oh, he says so, please. It's not, Mr. Speaker, I will not impose anything on him. He signaled that in view of the caution from the leader, he wants to withdraw. If he wants to, that is his matter. I am only telling Mr. Speaker, that's the signal he's giving me. Mr. Speaker, let's be fair with each other. This democracy that you are celebrating today.
Honorable Minority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, I'm concluding. Mr. Speaker, once upon a time, we had 169 seats in this house. You have made it, enjoy it, but let us be mindful. Let us be mindful that we are a family. I told us once some weeks ago that let us learn from the Jinapo brothers. I rest my case.
Thank you, Honorable Member, Honorable Sule.
Oh,
I'll give you the floor. Honorable Nyindam, resume your seat. Honorable Sule, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful for this opportunity to withdraw the words he brought in military to kill his brothers. My understanding of the role of the military is that they are trained to kill. That's where I was coming
Honorable
from.
Suleiman.
So I withdraw.
Honorable Suleiman, are you withdrawing?
So I'm withdrawing.
Are you withdrawing? Or what are you doing?
Unreservedly. He's my brother, and I will not do anything to hurt him. So I withdraw them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, statement accordingly withdrawn. Order. Honorable member, conclude. You have 2 more minutes.
thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Chiwete, can we have some order?
Mr. Speaker, see how pleasant it is that as brothers we are able to understand each other. That should be the spirit that we carry on in the administration of government. Mr. Speaker, We all have a right. And Chapter 5 of the Constitution guarantees our right as citizens. In fact, Mr. Speaker, if you look at Article 14 of our Constitution, it is very clear. It is very clear that no person shall be deprived of their liberty except in accordance with the rule of law. Mr. Speaker, the rate and the style, the Rambo style at which they invaded Ken Ofori-Atta's house. This morning, my little daughter came to me and she was asking me, Daddy, is Ghana at war? Then I asked her, why? Mommy, why? Why? What is happening? Then she was like, Daddy, get on social media.
Honorable member,
look at how military
I am not supposed to be interrupting you. You quoted a constitutional provision that we need to act in accordance with the law. Are we going to be able to establish whether they have acted in accordance with law or not? Is this House going to establish whether they have acted in accordance with law or not, having regard to the fact that justice emanates from the people of Ghana and it is exercised on their behalf by the judiciary?
Mr. Speaker, it is very clear. It is very clear that from all the statements we have read from the OSP, there's no warrant. People invaded the houses of Ken Ofori-Atta. Today, even the OSP that we all thought that led that attack is even running away from the fact that he led those attacks to Ken Ofori-Atta's house. Mr. Speaker, today we have a former military person who has been caught on video, clear video, invading the house of Ken Ofori-Atta. Mr. Speaker, that should not happen. I'm saying that.
Honorable member, did I hear you say he's running away from the facts? Yes. He made a categorical statement that the people are imposters.
Who made that statement?
And he didn't authorize them.
Well,
and so you said he's running away from that particular fact, as if he authorized them and now running away from them.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I appreciate your guidance. I appreciate your guidance. But Mr. Speaker, we are all in the media space. We know what is happening. We know what people are saying. I am saying that this morning, newspapers carried that the OSP, in fact the Herald newspaper, carried that the OSP is the one that undertook this exercise. In his press conference, it denies that fact. It denies that fact. All I'm telling my colleagues is that we live in a country where a president has been given over 56% of votes. He promised, now I'm coming, sit down, Kwame, sit down. It doesn't matter. Give him 100%. He promised Ghanaians that he's going to reset the entire system. But Mr. Speaker, today what we see in administration, in the administration of the NDC, it's more like a coup d'etat had happened in Ghana.
Honourable member, conclude.
Being raided, and all of that. Mr.
Honourable member, conclude.
Letters are being issued sacking civil servants in our country. Something we have not seen before. Even directors of companies are being sacked. Mr. Speaker, directors of companies are being sacked.
Honourable member, your time is up.
Mr. Speaker,
I proceed to give the floor to Honourable James Agalga.
Mr. Speaker, in conclusion.
Honourable member, resume your seat, please.
4 minutes. Mr. Speaker, you
please
took all
resume
my time.
your seat.
You took all
Honourable
my time.
James Agalga, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, the statement made by the Deputy Minority Whip was made in the realm of the purported violation of the rights of the former finance minister. If my understanding of that statement serves me right, Mr. Speaker, then of course we have reason to ask ourselves which of the human rights provisions enshrined in Chapter 5 of the 1992 Constitution has been violated. That is the question. The maker of the statement cited a judicial decision in support of the statement. Now, that particular judicial decision, I didn't hear him well, but he mentioned Director of Prisons. That particular judicial decision relates to fair trial principles. But, Mr. Speaker, in the case of the Minister for Finance, he is not on trial. And so the principles enshrined in Article 19 of the Constitution will not apply to him for now. The closest we can come to, Mr. Speaker, in terms of the human rights provisions in our Constitution, would be Article 15 of our Constitution. And, Mr. Speaker, I will take you through Article 15. And I expect, with the greatest of respect, the minority leader to respect the fact that I am truly a human rights advocate, and he can bear testament to that fact. So let him not interrupt me when I am advancing my arguments.
Honorable member, you are not interrupted in any manner. Address the chair.
Article 15 of our Constitution talks about the respect for human dignity. And this is what it says. The dignity of all persons shall be inviolable. 2, no person shall, whether or not he is arrested, restricted, or detained, be subjected to A, torture, or other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. B, any other condition that detracts or is likely to detract from his dignity and worth as a human being. It goes on and on and on, but those are the relevant provisions I want to relate to. Mr. Speaker, the question is, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta has not been arrested. He's not in the custody of the police. So how do we start talking about a violation of his right to human dignity? The steps that have so far been taken by the special prosecutor.
Honorable Stephen Amwa, let's listen to him in silence.
Mr. Speaker, the steps that have so far been taken by the special prosecutor is in accordance with law as prescribed under Article 18 of our Constitution. That same Article 18, Mr. Speaker, talks about the right to property and the fact that it shouldn't be interfered with, your property rights, your home, etc., etc. But Article 18 comes with an exception. Where the state security apparatus decides to act in prevention of crime or in detection and punishment for crime, an exception is created under Article 18. So the question we should be asking ourselves is, even granted, assuming without admitting, that security agents stormed the house of Ken Ofori-Atta, we should be asking ourselves, did they obtain a warrant from court? Did they obtain a warrant from court? I think our colleagues on the other side should file an agent question and determine for themselves whether they acted with a warrant or without a warrant before they draw certain conclusions. Now, Mr. Speaker, the special prosecutor has spoken. He says he extended an invitation to Ken Ofori-Atta, and his lawyers offered to present themselves for questioning. And he said, no, lawyers are not the subject of the investigation. So he wants to talk to Ken Ofori-Atta himself. Could this be the reason why agents of our state security apparatus stormed his home? Mr. Speaker, let me remark that when Honorable John Jinapo's home was stormed, there was no prior invitation extended to him by any state security agency mandated to investigate any matter. Likewise, the home of Dominic Ayene, the current Attorney General, was stormed, equally stormed. What was his crime? His crime was that he only wrote a legal opinion. A legal opinion warranted the storming of his home without a prior invitation from the police. These are the facts we should compare and contrast. And so, having said that, I did indicate that I, as a lawyer, a human rights advocate,
Honourable Member, conclude.
who was struggling to establish for myself which of the provisions of our constitution have been violated, I found none. Ken Ofori-Atta can submit himself to the law for purposes of investigation, and when there are violations, I'll be the first to speak for and on his behalf. Not until then. He should be law-abiding, come back home, and engage with the special prosecutor so that the allegations that have been leveled against him can be dealt with. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Your time is up.